Good day, everyone. Welcome again to the FIA UI's expert discussion. My name is Tias, and here with us Professor Harald Fur from Potsdam University. And now we will discuss about how a climate change that is a huge problem can be an opportunity, and what we should know, and also how Indonesia's younger generation can benefit from it. So how are you, Doctor and Professor?
Thank you, I'm fine.
Harald,
Thanks for inviting me.
So yeah, the first questions that we will discuss is how a paradox can occur. Like, what can a problem such as climate change be an opportunity?
Good. Well, we phrased it a little provocatively, but I think most of the discussions we have on climate change are problem-oriented.
Oh yeah.
Meaning we have disasters, we have droughts, we have floods, we have a changing climate, we have changing weather events, we have extreme weather events. So everyone is afraid.
Yeah.
But the measures we need to take to address climate change, a changing climate, and fix the problem is at the same time an opportunity. It creates new products, it creates new mechanisms, it creates new institutions, and above all, it will create new jobs for which we need newly qualified people. So everything in that room that has a carbon content will probably have to move away, and it will be replaced by new products. Maybe in the future some of these things here will be nature-based furniture, or will be made by bamboo, so renewable sources of production and consumption. So all of these new products we need to decarbonize the economy in the upcoming years to address climate change will have co-benefits. For example, an electric car doesn't create the sounds, it doesn't create noise, so noise pollution will be reduced in the city. But also the emissions by cars lead to environmental pollution that will be gone. So an electric car has nothing. A hydrogen car or a hydrogen plant in the future, provided it's green hydrogen, won't have any emissions except vapor, water. Right? So the future generation, and that will bring us to a point, will benefit from a cleaner environment and probably a less polluted environment. And these are the benefits you will have by addressing climate change and removing a problem, but also by introducing new mechanisms, new products, and create new jobs. So these are lots of new opportunities. And I think we need to be a little more optimistic when it comes to addressing a problem. We can fix it. We are innovators, and lots of societies and countries and private companies have moved in this direction. So you need to give a clear signal to go, and then I think we can also turn a problem into a pathway towards solutions.
Yeah. So that's how a problem can be looked and can be seen as an opportunity, so we can benefit from it. And the second one, in these topics about climate change, what is the role of Indonesia in this climate change field?
Indonesia is number 6 or 7, depends how you count it, in the list of emitters, the top emitters. China is first, of course. And then comes the US, and then comes India, and then comes the EU. So Indonesia has done a lot in the past decades to reduce its emissions. And one needs to know that about 30 to 40% of Indonesia's emissions are not generated by using fossil fuels, but by deforestation and land use changes. So about a third of Indonesia's emissions are agriculture and forestry based. And that has been the cause for major emissions in the past. So since you reduced deforestation, you also reduced your emissions. So again, but Indonesia is about number 6 or 7. It has been very successful in the past, but it needs to do more when it comes to renewable energy, for example. You have plenty of sun compared to European countries, and you have plenty of wind and geothermal sources of energy. And you may want to mobilize these resources of energy in the future and move out of coal in particular. I think about 40% of your energy mix, or even more, is based on the use of coal,
Yes.
which is the dirtiest form of fossil fuels.
Yeah.
So also for health benefits, you would need to move out of coal as soon as possible. And introduce more renewable sources of energy, such as wind and solar power.
Oh, so that's
of which you have plenty of.
Yeah. And what's the difference between Indonesia's condition geographically with, let's say, European countries? How we should focus on Indonesia as a central part of this climate change to be an opportunity?
Well, I think we need to think about generational things here as well, right? So about half of your population, a little less, I think, is under 30 years.
Yes.
So your generation.
Yeah.
Both the Generation Z and the millennials together have 54% of your population. So the economically active and the younger generation under 30 will need to do that job until 2050, 2060. I think Indonesia wants to be carbon neutral by 2060, meaning no more CO2 emissions by 2060. Or the amount you generate need to be captured and stored. So anyway, you will be carbon neutral. But that means this next generation which is now in their 20s and 30s, will have to manage this the next 25 years. And they will still be working by 2050. They will benefit from it. They will need to transform the society in Indonesia, but they will also benefit from it, and their children will benefit. So you're fixing a problem for your children. But as I said before, you need to see this under more optimistic terms. This is a process of change with winners and losers, and I'll get back to this. But it creates also lots of new jobs. The calculation by a Stanford team, Stanford University says you will probably have 1.5 million new jobs by moving to renewable energy sources. There will be a loss, but it adds eventually to 700,000 new jobs in the energy sector. And that's, of course, serious, right? So you have new jobs, new opportunities for precisely this generation. You will generate new jobs also not only by reducing carbon, but also by adapting to extreme weather events. So coastal protection, new roads, reforestation, new types of agriculture, replanting mangroves, it has a lot of co-benefits for biodiversity, but also for coastal protection. So there are lots of things to do to fix this problem, what I mentioned before, and this will generate new jobs for precisely this generation. So there are good reasons to be a little more optimistic and not kind of close your eyes and be pessimistic. And anyway, I think this next generation, which is now at the university, will need to manage this carefully and effectively, efficiently, and justly, in a participatory manner. There are good chances in Indonesia. It's a democratic country, has a free and open press, to manage these difficult situations into the future.
Okay, Prof. So that's the difference between Indonesia's and also with the European countries, because our demographic pyramid looks like a triangle rather than upside down triangle.
Exactly.
So that's why we should focus on the younger generation.
Well, the younger generation is simply in the majority right now, right? So half of your population, as I said, is under 30. And this is precisely the generation that will move into the market, the labor market, and will probably have the responsibility to transit. It will be the last generation that can do it. Your children will come too late, but you need to do it. But again, there are good reasons to think also about the co-benefits of doing it. And it's a generation that lives through an energy transition. Exciting times, lots of things to do, go do it.
Okay, Prof. Very optimistic.
And your question on Europe, you have, in general, the demographic situation is different in Europe, as a much older share of, a much larger share of people are older, and the younger generation is much smaller than in your country, the percentage. in that sense, there's a different demographic situation. Actually, also population is shrinking in Europe. And also the natural resources, the solar and wind power is slightly different. So I think your resources are much higher that can be used and mobilized for addressing climate change.
Okay, Prof. And the next question is, this good idea should be implemented, right? And how we can implement it in the strategic manner to get as fast as possible, the benefit as fast as possible?
Well, you probably need a larger consensus in the society on addressing climate change and agreeing upon a climate policy. And I think it's important to make sure the climate policy is not constantly changing between governments, and that there are a couple of institutionalized issues and bodies and organizations that are created that make sure that climate policy is an ongoing issue, an ongoing policy. So you want to make sure that Indonesia has a kind of a consensus about, we're moving in this direction, we reduce deforestation, we change agriculture, we move away from fossil fuels. These are clear signals that need to be agreed upon, and I think that's also where the university and your faculty comes in. So incentivize discussions about societal change and the need for societal change, but also you need to make sure on a more positive side that the changes that take place are not leaving certain societal groups behind or putting them into a disadvantage. So you need to take care of poverty alleviation as well at the same time as you grow. So, and you need to make sure that there are no disadvantaged groups that suffer from your climate policy. Particularly poorer parts of your society may have negative short-term effects that need to be addressed, and you need to make sure that there's climate justice, and a certain inclusion of these groups, and that it's managed justly and fairly.
Okay.
I think so. So first, consensus on the policy. Second, make sure that no one is left behind, and thirdly, probably make sure that there's a certain optimism in the strategy. That this is the way to go, and that Indonesia will follow suit and will cooperate internationally also with others to learn from each other and move in this direction. It's a joint project, actually. It's not only one country, but it's all countries need to move.
Okay, Prof. Very, very inspiring. And is there any other benefit for the younger generation other than new jobs and new opportunity to create a career other than that, Prof, regarding the climate change?
Well, I think we're repeating. No? I think addressing climate change means decarbonization in each sector, in industry, in agriculture, in the transport system, in the building sector. So in all economic and societal sectors, you would need to change and check the carbon content, lower the carbon content, and create new products. That means innovations take almost place in the next 30 years. Every year there will be something new. Plus, don't forget the digital revolution and the AI revolution, artificial intelligence. This will come on top and probably help moving electricity more smartly. So a smart grid will probably shift energy sources, shift between different energy sources. So artificial intelligence or digital processes will help shifting between different needs in terms of energy supplies. And so innovations will probably take place in the next couple of decades on a yearly basis, and these are exciting times. There will probably be lots of new startups. You would need to make sure that this is not only government-led, although there's a certain government policy agreed upon with the society and civil society and the private sector, but there's also the need for private sector investment and a framework for private sector development that addresses climate change. You will need lots of money and lots of investment, which will not come only from the public sector, but also from the private sector and from all of us who invest in the future. So that's why it's important to agree on a policy, on a framework that is stable, credible, reliable, and a couple of new laws, the rules and regulation. And once this is being set, I think this the ship can move forward.
Yeah, to the better future for younger generations and benefit from
well, it's not going to be easy. This is not. It doesn't happen while sleeping, right? You need to do something. You need to get prepared, and you need to have a dialogue also on what worked, what didn't work, and how can we improve our change strategy, right? So this is also a political process where learning is important. But once it works, I think there's potentially a lot of things happening that are exciting and also are beneficial to the society.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. So
you're welcome.
The benefit for the younger generations in this climate change regards, they can get more innovative and also can join in the career development parts, as well as create new jobs and new economic, societal, and also health, right, Prof?
Health benefits.
Health benefit for future. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Prof. Harald.
Thank you.
Wait for the next FED FIA expert discussion. My name is Tias, and Prof. Harald, thank you very much. See you later. Good day.